Namaste. I'm Swami Nirgunananda, and on behalf of Arogya Yoga School, I would like to talk on this topic today about Kundalini Yoga. So this is just a very brief introduction because this is a very exhaustive topic. It's a very large topic and it's a practice. So Kundalini Yoga, what is Kundalini Yoga? In essence, Kundalini Yoga came from what is originally called as the Tantra Yoga. It is not part of the original yoga philosophy as was originally outlined by Patanjali Yoga or even in other traditional yogic schools. It doesn't find much mention. But over the years of development of Tantra Yoga, the yogis discovered that this profound science of awakening, spiritual awakening, is possible for everyone through the practices, the right practices of Kundalini Yoga. A lot of times what happens is people mistake Kundalini Yoga to be a specific Tantra Yoga science which is involved with certain sexual energy or which is involved with certain siddhis like spiritual powers and all that. Kundalini Yoga is actually meant for spiritual awakening. And as a process of spiritual awakening, there is a lot of powers that one gains in this process. But it is not meant specifically for this spiritual, gaining of powers. It is meant specifically for spiritual progress on the path of yoga. Now, what is happening here is why it integrates the philosophy of yoga very well is because this awakening of Kundalini is known in other way as what is called as the Shakti awakens and rejoins with Shiva. Another way we can talk about it from the yoga philosophy as the Prakriti, moves back towards its source, which is consciousness, Purusha. So now let us look at how Kundalini Yoga is practiced and what is the way to learn it and what does the technique entail. In a very brief thing because it is hard to explain everything in a short video, and at the same time it is also a science that has to be learned in a proper way with a proper teacher in a proper environment. First, when you learn Kundalini Yoga, it is learning the art of being able to sit quietly. So certain asanas are required, certain physical exercises are required. It is not for somebody who has never practiced any kind of meditation or any yoga, because there is a certain amount of capacity that the body requires. And next, the capacity of the breath to be able to control and work with the prana, the breath and the energies in the body. So, in the ancient times, Kundalini Yoga was not given out just very casually, and especially not on some videos, online videos and all that. Nor can Kundalini Yoga be learned through a book. Kundalini Yoga is handed out in tradition from a teacher to a student, a guru to a shishya. So this is how in traditional context Kundalini Yoga is handed out. Now why is it necessary to do it this way? Why not just learn it through some books or online videos? See, when we learn Kundalini Yoga, there is a certain movement of energy in the body. The natural movement of energy of the body is that it is going through all the different thousands of nadis. So the natural movement of energy is moving to all the nadis, and that enlivens all our senses. All our knowledge senses, what we call Jnanendriya, the eyes, ears, nose, mouth, touch. And the karmendriya, the motor senses, meaning like hands, legs and speech and all that. So now when you are active in a normal worldly way, these senses are outward going and distributed through all these different nadis, all the nervous system. A person who masters Kundalini Yoga is channeling the energy back from all this outward flow to the inward flow. So how does this inward flow happen? The movement is directed back into a very subtle spinal system called Sushumna Nadi. The Sushumna Nadi is in the spine. It is not something that the X-rays can reveal. It is not something that somebody, a doctor can cut the spine and see it, because it is supposed to be a subtle nervous system. Along with this is two other nadis on the left and right side called Ida and Pingala nadis. So now slowly over with practice, what the Kundalini Yoga practitioner is taught to do is to redirect back the energy into the Sushumna Nadi so that it moves from the lower levels, the lower chakras, what is called as the Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura chakra, upwards to the Anahata, Vishuddha, Agnya chakra until Sahasrara. So this movement back from outward going to inward going, the outward going senses, to the inward going is the essence of yogi's journey. So here what happens is, initially he was getting distracted by the sounds, by the taste, the smells and all that, or by his own thoughts. His desire to act, his desire to speak, think, all that. Now slowly, when somebody masters Kundalini Yoga, he's able to gradually still all these thought waves. So much so that he regains control of not just his outward going senses, but that which controls this movement of senses, which is the mind. So the mind comes to a point of stillness. The mind is slowly brought to this point of Chitta Vritti Nirodha in the language of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So when this Chitta Vritti Nirodha happens, simultaneously there is what is called as a Kundalini awakening. Now for some people, for most people, it takes a lot of practice to be able to master this. It takes years and years of practice under the guidance of a skillful teacher. So it is not given through books, it is not handed out just like so easily. And to be very honest, for most people it is not mastered within 1 month. But what is possible is within 1 month you can learn all the basics of this practice. You can understand all the potential hazards of doing wrong practice, and also learning how to do the right practice. Now, why should we do it if it is potentially dangerous? Meaning, when the energy gets dissipated in the wrong channels, it could possibly cause certain hazards. Meaning your normal functioning of your body systems, that might get interrupted, or your ability for the senses to function in certain way can get damaged. Again, this is all only if you're not guided in a proper way. But if you learn how to practice it correctly over a period of, a few weeks or a month or regular practice, then slowly what happens is you have within you that understanding on what is the purpose, how it should be guided, and how to deal with potential challenges on the path of Kundalini Yoga. So the reason why it is worth learning Kundalini Yoga for anyone, any yogic practitioner, is because through Kundalini Yoga you can awaken all those dormant energies within us. So you go on to become like a Superman, from being a normal human to a Superman. So this is what a yogi is, It doesn't mean like Superman in the sense of flying in the air and doing all the magic. It is just that you have that strong mental capacity that you will remain unshaken no matter what happens in your life. And most importantly, you will start getting wisdom, you will start getting guidance, you will start connecting to your inner sources of wisdom, to that unseen forms of gurus and formless aspects of divine energies. And a practitioner of Kundalini Tantra yoga, is one of the most powerful person, because he has broken free from his own habitual patterns, what is called as negative samskaras or kleshas. These are the afflictive tendencies we carry. These afflictive tendencies keep bringing us misery, stress, anxiety, depression, and all those problems in life. A practitioner of Kundalini Yoga will never have to worry about this. Why? Because these negative thought patterns, no matter how many lifetimes you have caught that from, how many lifetimes it has taken you to adopt that negative lifestyles or negative habits of living and thinking, these can be broken in an instant, or these can be broken through practice gradually. And he experiences a certain state of subtle joy, shukshmananda, a state of inner bliss, paramananda. So moving from the gross sensory joys, which is always subject to change, is always subject to being out of our control. People are never in our control. Those who give you happiness, they may leave you objects that you find happiness with, that may either fade away or go away, or you may not feel happy with that anymore. Just like how a child loses interest with a toy as he grows up. Similarly, when we get to do Kundalini Yoga, we start experiencing the joy that is unconditioned and the joy that is very subtle. And this joy becomes your priority in life. You're no longer begging for joy from the world, people, situations, because you always carry within you this inner peace and inner joy. This is the promise of Kundalini Yoga, and also in general the promise of yoga itself. But the practice of Kundalini Yoga makes this transformation possible from where we remain as a diseased self, where we are caught up in an unhealthy sense of self, to a positive and a very self-assured person, a very healthy sense of self we carry with us. Okay, I hope you found this introduction to Kundalini Yoga helpful. Namaste.